Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Creatures Collide 4-pack from the Transformers Legacy Buzzworthy Bumblebee line from Hasbro. So this still has the Legacy branding up here, but it is part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee subline that's exclusive to Target. So because of that, it is a Target exclusive 4-pack here. Just found this the other day. It should probably be hitting shelves around you sometime soon. Target's doing all their aisle resets, and then this would be out as part of that. So again, really awesome artwork here on the front. I think this looks absolutely fantastic here. Up top, you have this kind of cool like honeycomb effect where they show you the 4 different figures that are included. You can actually see them down in there because this is plastic-free packaging. So these are kind of little holes. You can kind of look down and see the figures in there. Not really much going on here on the bottom. Over here, we just have a picture of Bumblebee, kind of the standard artwork we have for these Buzzworthy Bumblebee lines. Kind of the same for every figure in the line. And then if we spin around to the back, you can see the 4 figures here. They did actually get the VW Bug mold for Goldbug, which I did not expect them to get because that mold was locked to that Netflix Walmart line. So it's kind of neat. The statute of limitations must have finally run out, so they're able to reuse that again. But other than Ransack, we've seen these molds countless times before. I mean, technically, we've only seen this exact mold once before, but the Cliff Jumper it's based on, we've seen countless times. So we'll probably run through these pretty quick, but they do look really, really cool, and I was excited to find this 4-pack. So I'm going to go ahead and get these guys out of the packaging here, and we're going to take a closer look. Alright, so here are the 4 out of the packaging, so you can see just for scale kind of how they measure up. Goldbug is still the smallest deluxe ever, but we also have Ransack, SkyWasp, and Predacon Scorpinok. So pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of focus on each one individually, but I want to just do a quick group shot so you can see for scale. I mean, Ransack is obviously the tallest. I would say even before his wings, he's the tallest out of the 4, then probably SkyWasp. I've always thought Scorpinok is kind of a dinky deluxe, and I really felt like this guy should have been a Voyager, but what are you going to do? So we'll go ahead. We'll start with Goldbug over here. So here is Goldbug. I love him. He really came out great. That head sculpt is absolutely fantastic. The paint looks amazing. We have a nice Autobot symbol here on the chest. He really came out great. Now, he does have some gold plastic, so I worry about his longevity. The nice thing is they use this dark blue plastic for the shoulder joints and the hip joints, but the knees and the elbows do have gold plastic, so hopefully he does not succumb throughout the years, but only time will tell. But honestly, I think it's a really nice gold finish paint. Very happy to have this guy. I mean, like I said, this is not a new mold by any means. We've seen this as Cliff Jumper, and then Bumblebee, and then Bug Bite, and Hubcap, and the list goes on and on. Now, this is the Netflix Walmart exclusive line VW Bug version of the mold, which is nice because I really did think that mold was still locked to Walmart. So I'm very excited that they were able to use it. Maybe if it's not Bumblebee, they can use it, but they just can't re-release Bumblebee. I don't know all the legalities, but very happy that they were able to use that mold. Now, he does have this piece here on the back that, you know, kind of naturally stores here. You can take it off and use it as a shield, as we've seen before. But what I like to do is kind of spin it around and just don't peg it in all the way. And then you can kind of push this down. And that's a little bit more like Throttlebot accurate, because they all had those big like pieces that just hung off the back in the original toy, and so they were animated that way as well. So I kind of just like that. I think that's really neat that it is possible to give them kind of a more authentic Throttlebot look. Very, very cool. I'm just going to run through this real quick. I mean, we've seen this mold 100 times, but of course the head's on a ball joint. I'm going to take this off just for simplicity. So head's on a ball joint. You can look down, you can look up, tilt a little bit side to side, look side to side. Swivel, hinge, bicep swivel 90 degrees at the elbow, wrist swivel, waist swivel here. You can kick out to the side, kick forward, kick back. You got a thigh swivel, 90 degrees in the knee. You have ankle tilt. But yeah, he just really came out great. I do feel like the head is a little hanging out there. I don't remember it always being so high up. I feel like maybe the neck stalk, for lack of a better term, didn't need to be that tall. But it's really not that big a deal. Especially when you put this piece back on, you don't notice it nearly as much. But yeah, he looks great. So of course for accessories, we have this piece here, which like I said, can double as a shield. You can peg that in to the side or have him hold it. You have two guns. Now, for whatever reason, this one is molded in solid black plastic, and this one is molded in gold and then painted black. Not really quite sure why, but that's how that goes. And then, of course, you have the other parts to make, like the big sniper bazooka thing. So we can go ahead... How do I have to do this? I think it goes like this, and then this plugs in here. Right? Yes. And then these little pieces can go here and here. And that kind of makes, like, the big sniper bazooka. Again, we've seen this weapon 100 times, so all the pieces are included to do that. So I'm going to take these all apart again, and we'll put this off to the side. I'm just going to run through the transformation real quick here. You flip this down. There we go. Then this is going to flip up. You can kind of flip this back down, which is giving me difficulties. I'll just leave it for now. So these come around to the side. You want to bend these down. Bend that like that. Then you kind of bring this down, and this will swivel. I should probably swivel this first, actually. It is a little tight, but you can see that's a blue plastic joint as well. So I feel like they were cognizant of the gold plastic syndrome, and there were just certain places that they couldn't escape it. So we'll see how that works. But they did try, I feel like. So flip this down. Flip those wheels out, like so. Spin this around, and I need to bring this around like this. And then you have these tab slots here. This one has a little bit of flashing or something going on, but hopefully that's just mine. So bring this in, tab that in like this. And then I think I should be able to... I think it's just not clearing that. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Maybe I have to turn the head around. You don't always have to do that, but for this one you might have to. Because I don't think that's sitting flat enough to get these past. There we go. There we go. Alright, so now we can peg these in like this as this comes around. And all of these panels will close up. This is really not wanting to cooperate with me today. What's the issue here, guys? What's the issue? Oh, is this not pegging into the... There we go. Peg it into the side of the legs. That goes there. That goes there. There you go. You can see we got pretty much the whole thing. Then we're going to bring this piece back in, rotate that peg up, and then these two pegs will go into the two fists. So just drop that on there and clip that in. And there we go. It's a really good looking VW Bug. They did a really nice job with this. It worked well for Bumblebee, but I think it works even better for Goldbug, because the Goldbug throttlebot kind of was naturally longer. Like Bumblebee, the original toy, was such a compact little bug, but the throttlebot for Goldbug was like naturally longer. So I just feel like this kind of works a little better. Plus that gold paint is just really nice. It's got a really nice finish, very cohesive. It appears to all be the same color, which is really nice because you don't always run into that, especially with Bumblebees, because he's usually got different shades of yellow going on all around, but this appears to be pretty cohesive. So that's really cool. You can bring those accessories back in. You can put the little jet skis under here. We've seen this before, but pop that on. So you can do that. You can peg these in. I think they go like this. Like this. And then this piece extends out and pegs in here. Like so. It's not pegged in all the way, but you get the idea. And then he's ready for water ski mode. Let me zoom in on this. So yeah, if you want to do the water ski mode, it's there. Goldbug never used it, but because it's the same mold, you can do it. But yeah, this is a really great looking car. I think this looks absolutely fantastic. I really love the gold. It really pops. So, really great job with that. All right, so here is Ransack up next. This is the Legacy Kickback mold. It looks really good. Not really too much is different, to be honest. It's mostly just a color scheme with a new head. But the new head does look pretty good. Let's get a closer look there. So we have a really nice visor. Have these really giant bug eyes on the side. We have the wings done in a kind of translucent orange plastic this time. And then you got a really nice Decepticon symbol there. Once again, this clear piece here looks like it should open, but it does not. And then we have a pretty much black and yellow color scheme. The only thing I don't love about this, they molded the arms, the feet, these pieces on the back, all in yellow plastic. But then you can see here at the waist that the top of the hips and the crotch plate are black plastic painted yellow. And it's really difficult to paint black plastic lighter colors. You really have to cake the paint on there. And you can kind of see the black bleeding through a little bit. I kind of wish, like, I guess I get it for this piece here, but I feel like they could have molded these pieces out of yellow. I don't know, maybe it was a structure thing. Maybe, you know, drilling the hole through for the pin would have cracked it if it's yellow plastic. I don't know, I'm just guessing at these things, but that's the only thing that looks a little off, because you can tell that that's painted and everything else is actually molded. But other than that, looks really good. I think they did a nice job. He comes with the same blaster that Kickback came with. And it's just molded in black plastic. So, nothing big there. He also comes with an accessory for a toy-accurate kickback head. So, the Legacy Kickback came with a more animation model style head. But you can see here you have the unpainted visor, and it definitely looks more like the original toy. So, that's really cool. So, if you're enjoying the toy-accurate universe that they have going on here, we've actually had a few releases at this point with more toy-accurate color schemes, since a lot of characters had various, large variations, I should say, between what the toy looked like and their animation model. And they're kind of leaning into this, hey, I can sell it to you again if I just make it look like the original toy. So, but they've included this here, and I think that's cool. So if you have a Kickback, it doesn't seem like you can just pop the head off, but I don't know how you'd unscrew it either, so maybe you can just pop it off. I mean, I guess it is a ball joint. In any case, if you want to get another Kickback, or if you just pop the head off the Kickback you have and go with a toy-accurate head sculpt, you now have that option. So I think that it's a pretty cool little inclusion. Definitely wasn't necessary, but if I could find another Kickback on clearance or something, maybe I would get a second one. I do really like the animation model head, so I'm going to keep that on the one that I have, but maybe I'll try to get a second one, because otherwise the rest of Kickback is like 90% the same from the toy to the animation model. But anyway, back to Ransack here. It does have a ball joint there for the head. It's a little loose. It's not terrible, but he can certainly look side to side. He's got these massive antennae here on the back, which are fun. You have the swivel there with the hinge. You have the bicep swivel. You have the elbow there. You kind of have a lot of range of motion in the elbow there because of how everything transforms. You have a waist swivel. You can kick out to the side really far, kick forward, kick back, no problem there. You got the thigh swivel, got 90-degree bend there in the knee, and then you do have the ankle tilt. So this ankle is really loose, and this ankle is really tight. And I don't know why that is, but that is how it is. But yeah, I think it's a good use of the mold. I think it totally makes sense. Ransack was a deluxe Insecticon, so they were able to just kind of make him out of this mold. I think it's a good use, because really there's not too much else you can do with Kickback, and they got to get something else out of it. I'm pretty sure you can store this here on the back if you want. Yeah, you can. Can you store the extra head? I guess technically you could. If you want a head coming out of his back. It's not going to stay, though. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll go through the transformation real quick. It's very, very fast. So we're going to spin the head around, and then we're going to rotate the antenna back, which can be a little bit easier said than done because they're kind of a softer plastic, so getting them to rotate can be a little difficult. But there we go. There's a little panel in here, just like with Kickback, that you want to flip up. to cover the robot face. So there you go. We're going to rotate the wings back, very simply like that. We're going to flip out the back, well, I guess it's the back of the forearm or the back of the bicep that has the insect leg. And then this is going to rotate in, and then you just kind of, you know, find an angle you like for those. So do the same over here, flip that up, flip this around, and then just kind of rotate that like so. Let me zoom out here a little bit. So now we're going to push the ankles in. If you haven't already, you can flip out these insect feet. Rotate this around like that. Flip this out. Rotate the little foot out. And then just flip in the toes. And then bring this up. And kind of, again, find whatever angle you would like to. And that's pretty much it. So pretty basic transformation, but kickback was exactly the same. But it's kind of what you expect, so. But it looks good. I really like the color scheme. I think the bug head is pretty fantastic. Those eyes are massive. It did a great job with that. I really like that. Let me see if I can get these to cooperate a little bit more. Now, he does come with these two massive Energon weapons. They are clear plastic painted yellow. So, once again, the paint's kind of caked on. I didn't show these off in robot mode, but he can hold these as swords. You can peg them into the sides of the forearms. You can also peg them into each other, like so. And then if you want to peg this in here, I believe it goes like this. And just to slide in. Because there's a little channel right there, and I think this piece right here has to slide into that. So peg that in. And you can kind of give them like a thorax, basically. So if you like the look of that, you can put that in there. If you don't have to. But that is an option. And I have him in the worst pose ever, but he can sit flat if you just play with it a little bit. I should probably try this back more. I probably pushed this one too far. Yeah, I think it's supposed to stop there. So, but yeah, he looks pretty good. I think it was a logical repaint. I think they did a good job, and I think the color scheme is great, and I really love the new bug head. Up next, we have SkyWasp, which is basically Waspinator in a Skywarp color scheme, which is not something I think anyone asked for, but really does look good. I mean, honestly, the gold with the black and the purple and the deep red, it really works. I think it's a great color scheme for this mold. Definitely not something I knew I wanted, but I wanted it. So let's go ahead, let's take a closer look at that head. Really does look good. I think they did a great job there. He does have some light piping in the back. Also comes with the like robot head. So you do have both options there. And they both have light piping, which is pretty cool. I definitely prefer this one, though. I think that looks great. So that's on kind of a limited ball joint. Can certainly look side to side. You get a little bit of front to back. More back, really, than front. You can definitely tilt side to side, though. You have the really nice deep red translucent plastic wings, which are on a ball joint, so you can move those all around. You have the hinge and the swivel here in the shoulders. You have a little bit of movement there, like in the hinge that's actually in the torso because of the transformation. You have the bicep swivel. You have 90 degrees there in the elbow. You do have a wrist swivel as well. You have kind of a limited, you have a waist movement there, but it's because of the way the chest and the head of the wasp transform. It's a little limited. But you can kick a little bit out to the side. Unfortunately, you know, this mold still has these giant insect legs that just hang off the body and get in the way, and that's really unfortunate. I almost wish you could just kind of, like, peg them in or unpeg them. I guess technically this is like a mushroom peg, so I probably could pop these off if I really wanted to. But it's more trouble than it's worth. But I wish there was just kind of like an easy way to just have them as accessories that you could just peg or unpeg, because they really get in the way of the robot. The arm ones, not so much, but the leg ones really do. But you can kick forward, kick a little bit, well, pretty far out to the side. Can't really go that far back because of the giant stinger, obviously. You do have a thigh swivel right there, and then you do have 90 degrees probably there in the knee, and then ankle tilt, of course. So he does come with this gun accessory. I still don't really like this accessory. Like, it has some molded detail on the bottom, but when he's holding it, you can't see that at all, so it just looks like he's holding part of his butt. I like the gold paint, but I've never really liked this accessory. I'm just going to put that off to the side for now. Alright, so let's go ahead. Let's get into the transformation here. So we're going to go ahead and kind of pop this all out like this. You're going to push the two halves of the wasp head together. And then you're going to fold this up like this. And there should be a little spot. Yeah, if I zoom in here. There's a little peg right there, and then there's a little peg spot right there. So that's going to peg in and put the wasp head where that's supposed to go. Just kind of get the wings out of the way for now. So now we're going to fold in the arms. This is going to spin like this. You can see that there are very tiny little pegs right here above the wrists, and they're going to peg into these little holes right there. So you kind of have to bend this. And then you want to rotate the hand so that it's pointing downward like that. So then bring this in and peg that in like so. So once again, rotate that in. Rotate this out to the side. Rotate the hand down. Tuck this under here like so. And then peg that in. Where's the hole? There we go. Okay. And then you can just kind of bring the wasp leg down to where it makes sense. Then we're going to unhook this. You have to swivel this at this spot right here. So this is going to swivel around 180 degrees. You can flip the heels of the feet around 180 as well. Like that. And then this is going to pop up, and that's going to snap in. I believe this goes, yeah, this goes in and snaps in up there like that. That did not sound great, but that's okay. And then this tucks under here like so. The two legs peg together. And then this is going to come up, and you kind of bring this down. Actually, I should probably bring this down first. These little pieces right here are going to sandwich around these purple tabs that were on the forearm. So when this comes up, this will sandwich onto there. And then you just tuck the feet up like that, and then bring the wasp legs down, and then you can position the wings however you like. And there you go. Let me adjust the camera here and zoom out. There is SkyWasp. He looks pretty good. Like I said, really do like the color scheme. I think it really works. Oh, I forgot to put the weapon back in to complete the stinger. There we go. So yeah, I guess he's supposed to be more like a, I mean, it says wasp, but it kind of looks like a, even almost like a yellow jacket, or there's a bunch of different kinds of bees. But he looks good. The black and the gold paint really look good. The purple's a little bit more subdued in this mode because it's all kind of tucked underneath here, but still looks good. And I still love these really deep red wings. I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, again, repaint I didn't know I needed, but really came out great. Alright, and then last and, well, maybe least, we have Predacon Scorpinok, which is really just an original toy accurate color scheme for the Scorpinok mold that we got back in Kingdom. Previously, we got it with more of a cartoon show aesthetic, and this is definitely based off the original toy, which had kind of a much darker color scheme. Very much dark red, dark black, and this purple color. Now, this is the, like, monster, mutant head, whatever you want to call it, beast head for Scorpinok. We've seen this previously with Sandstorm. Of course, they do also include the more kind of cartoon accurate robot head. In the original toy, this would split open down the center and the two halves would flip out to the side, and then this would have been inside. But they just have it so you can pop it off with a ball joint. So you just literally, this one kind of falls off, honestly. Wish it was a little bit better, but you just kind of slide it on back and it kind of pops in. So whichever one you would like, you do have both of those options. I still think this mold is kind of dinky. He's very short and squat. I think he would have benefited from being a Voyager. They could have stretched him out a little bit more, given him better proportions, but it is what it is. So if you open up this claw over here, you have the little bee. And this guy looks pretty good. Has some decent paint applications for how small he is. So not too bad there. Pop that back in. And one thing I thought was kind of a nice touch over here on this one, for the missiles, they did paint the Maximal symbol on there, which is something the original toy did, and I never understood that. I don't know if it's because he's firing them at Maximals, or if it was just a mistake back in the day. But since this is supposed to be an homage to the original Scorpinok, they went ahead and put the Maximal symbols there on the missiles, which I thought was a nice touch. But yeah, he's got this ball joint head here, but it's really, like I said, prone to falling off because it's the ball joint's attached to the body and not the actual head itself. So you can kind of hear it snap on, but it really just kind of swivels side to side. If you try to look up at all, I mean, you can get a little bit, but it's basically just going to make it fall off if you try to make it look up. You have a swivel here at the shoulder, you have a hinge, you have a bicep swivel. I think you can actually bend 180 degrees there at the elbow. You have a swivel for the claw as well as the opening and closing of the claw. You have a waist swivel, which is kind of limited just by the giant amount of kibble we have here on the back. You can kick forward, you can kick out to the side fairly decently. Again, kibble gets in the way. You have a thigh swivel there. You have, I would say, over 90 degrees in the knee. And then you do have some ankle tilt. So, it's a good color scheme, honestly. Definitely looks exactly like the original toy in terms of the color scheme. I just was never a huge fan of this mold, unfortunately. But I have it 3 times now. So we'll go ahead and get into the transformation. We're just going to go ahead and pop out the legs here. So this just fell off. We'll get to that in a minute. But that rotates all around. So this is just a ball joint. We're just going to pop this back on. Should be no big deal. I don't think I've ever had this pop off like this before. There we go. Okay. So now we are going to open up the chest. This is going to split in half, like so. And you're just going to kind of push the head in as far as it can go, really just about there. Just kind of like he's looking into his chest, which is weird. And then we're going to rotate the legs. I believe we rotate them like this. Oh, you know what? I have to open this up. This pops down. There's a hinge in here. There we go. That accordion's down. And now we can rotate it 90 degrees. And then kind of flip this down. This flips up so that we can reveal the scorpion head, which I will say is a little difficult to get out of here. I usually have to use some kind of tool or something to flip this out of here. There we go. That should do it. There we go. Okay. So then this is going to come over top. We're going to push these up like this. So that will kind of all come together. Then you can just kind of position the scorpion claws. Like so. You can kind of start to bring the legs down like this. And then we have to do this weird thing where we take the leg and this has to bend. I think it goes up like this. Yes, this goes like this. So the tail comes down. This leg kind of hides in it. So you can see that there's this little spot that sticks up, and that's going to fit in this little hole right here. So this leg hides in the tail, which it can be a little difficult to get it in here, but it's not impossible. Come on, maybe if I... Maybe if I do it like this. It really doesn't want to get in there. I know you go in there. There we go. There we go. So the one leg hides there, then the other one folds into the chest. So this has to hinge back. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Like this. So that this can go back, and then this kind of comes in like that. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong there. I probably didn't push this in all the way. It's been a minute. I'm just trying to do these from memory, and it's obviously not working. Alright, do I have to push this down? Well, anyway, you get the gist of it. This folds back like this. It might actually just be that. I think it compacts. There we go. There we go. I've always wanted, there's kind of like a little spot right there where I kind of wish the tip of his foot could get in, just to really kind of clip that in there and make it seem more cohesive, but it doesn't fit. It's not possible. I mean, maybe it's possible if you push it hard enough, but I'm not willing to do that. So then we just kind of position the legs and position the claws, and there we go. We have our scorpion mode. I mean, the scorpion mode's not terrible. It could be worse. I don't love the way it transforms. Positioning the legs is kind of difficult. But I honestly kind of like the Scorpion a little better in this color scheme, I have to be honest. The one we got in Kingdom was definitely more faithful to the cartoon, so I liked it for that. But I think the black is just a little bit more cohesive, and so it just kind of, it all flows a little bit better. Yeah, that's honestly not bad. Let me bend this. There we go. Yeah, maybe just display this one in Scorpion mode. I think it just works a little better in Scorpion mode. But yeah, for the most part, I think it looks pretty cool. You can still open and close the pinchers. You can rotate them if you want. You can still kind of use that wrist joint. So if you want to open them vertically, horizontally, whatever you want, you have those options. But yeah, not a bad little Scorpion mode. So that's going to do it for the Creatures Collide 4-pack, which is still kind of a funny name to me because Goldbug is really only a bug in name only, but whatever, it works. But yeah, all four of these are actually pretty great. I would have to say Goldbug is probably my favorite of the four. It's nice to see that VW bug mold again because it was locked for so long to that Walmart Netflix line. And it's just a really beautiful repaint. The head sculpt's phenomenal. The gold paint throughout looks really, really good, especially in the vehicle mode. Very cohesive, all the same colors, so that's really, really cool. Because sometimes with Bumblebee, you see a couple different shades of yellow, but this is very cohesive and looks really cool. You can even flip this piece around to kind of give it more of a Throttlebot look, which I really like. A little worried about the elbow and knee joints for Gold Plastic Syndrome, but hopefully over time he'll hold out. We'll see how it goes. Ransack, probably my next favorite. I really like the color scheme. I wish that yellow on black plastic wasn't happening there in the crotch and the hips, because everything else is molded out of yellow plastic. But other than that, looks really cool. I think they did a good job with it. I guess really we're just going down the line. SkyWasp is probably my third favorite. Again, a color scheme I didn't know that I needed, but really, really works on this mold and looks fantastic. Otherwise, it's just Waspinator again. It's really just a repaint. And then Scorpinok, unfortunately, bringing up the rear. It's not really his fault. It's just, Like I said, I've never really been a huge fan of this mold. It's just kind of squat, especially for a deluxe. I think he definitely would have benefited from being a Voyager, but I do like this color scheme a lot more than I thought I would. When I was a kid, I always wondered why the toy that I had didn't really look like the character on the show, and so they gave us kind of a more show-accurate color scheme back in Kingdom. But I'm sure there are a lot of people that are still fans of this color scheme because they remember that toy fondly, and they did a good job here. I think it works. I definitely think it works really well for the Scorpion mode. Again, just a little bit more cohesive there, and overall, I just like the look of it. So, yeah, they're 4 good figures. You know, do you need all of them? Maybe not. I mean, they're just repaints, but I mean, I've seen a lot of people online who kind of split it with a friend. They want these two, they want these two. But I think having all 4 in your collection is worth it. I mean, like I said, do you need all of them? Probably not. But I do think there's some nice additions to the collection. SkyWasp really is standing out to me just because I think that color scheme really works. Definitely not something I knew I needed, but I kind of love it. Goldbug is something I've wanted for a while. I really wish they would do the rest of the throttle bots. I feel like with a couple tweaks to that Cliff Jumper mold, you could easily get probably Chase, Freeway, and probably Searchlight. The only ones they'd have to do any kind of extensive remolding for would be Wide Load and Roll Bar, but I think it's possible, so I would love to get a full set of Throttlebots sometime in the future. Only time will tell, but from leaks and things, it doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon, but you never know. You never know. But I really like all the extra accessories as well. I think the inclusion of the toy-accurate kickback head for your Legacy kickback figure is a nice inclusion. You also get tons of head options here, with an alternate head for Scorpinok and SkyWasp, so that's really cool as well. Not to mention all the accessories the toys normally come with, their usual weapons and things. So it's a nice 4-pack. I really do think it's good. And I think it was only $75 if I remember correctly, which I feel like at this point for 4 deluxes is a pretty good deal because these things are getting nuts. They're getting to be about $25 a piece. So it's almost kind of like you're getting one for free. So if you think about it in that respect, I definitely think this pack is worth it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.